Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Rants. Finally fixed my mic. Yay! If you couldn't tell, I'm still a bit sick, so don't expect me to explain the entire goddamn theoretical universe as it is, because I don't know. Anyway, gotta need to turn down this music. It is kind of loud and hurting my head. And it's still a bit much. Yeah, that's a bit good. Anyway, I need to... There we go. Welcome back to Rants. Today's episode is about comic books. Yeah, if you can't tell, I'm not very getting into the whole recent events thing. I'm not that kind of commentary YouTuber. I don't like to talk about horrendous events or stuff like that. I just want to talk about stuff I enjoy. And I enjoy comic books. I have the entire goddamn Bloodborne collection right next to me as we speak. I read through all of them. I am begging PlayStation at this point to remake any kind of content for Bloodborne. I don't care. I will die on this hill. Maybe. Anyway, so yeah. Comic books are really good. If you didn't know what a comic book is, it's a book with images in it. Most of the time they're smaller, and the larger ones are considered graphic novels. So, I mean, yeah, there have been hundreds of comic books throughout the years, ranging from, well, the mundane to the really weird ones. Shit. Yep, can't go out there yet. Shit. I need to stop swearing because YouTube has been on my butt about that. Yay. Anyway, so, comic books. I love comic books. And if you're as much of a nerd as me, then you probably like comic books. There have been hundreds of great comic books, and not so good ones. I'm thinking of that one Harley Quinn one that was super weird. What the fuck was that about? And why? But you get the idea. Comic books, they've been around a long time. Some are better than others. That's for sure. Eh. So, I'm not gonna go in to talk about like my favorite comic books. I think that one's pretty obvious. I have the entire collection of the Bloodborne comics here right next to me. I mean, come on, man. Even though those are really good, not my favorites. But I still have a lot of good favorites. I mean, like, what can I honestly say here? It's comic books. I mean, at least if you haven't heard about them, you probably have. Like, your favorite characters are probably from a comic book. Batman, Spider-Man, Superman. All comic book characters, for Christ's sake. So, what can I really say about them that I haven't said before? How about the process of making them? Or how it sucks because sometimes people's dreams don't come true. Yep, that's right. Your boy tried to make a comic book at one point. I think every little kid has tried to make a comic book at some point in their lives. Like, come on. Every little kid who wanted to be an artist tried to make some kind of cool comic book. And I'm no different. The problem is, that's not when I was a little kid. That was pretty recently, and it failed. Which made me very sad. But hey, whatever. Now, the reasons it failed isn't because, oh, hey, I just am shitty at drawing, although that is one of the three reasons I'm not doing it. Uh, I'm bad at drawing shit. Yeah, like, that's just. I can't really explain it any other way. I'm not good at drawing. Uh, I mean, I'm not terrible, but I'll just. If you've ever heard of the story of One Punch Man, you probably know that just because you're bad at drawing doesn't mean you can't tell a great story. So, that's not the main reason I'm not doing that. Second reason is I'm flat broke. I wonder where that came from. Yeah, anyway, I can't afford to publish a comic book, nor do I really know how to do that, so that's a problem. I could publish a webcomic, but at the same time, some of those services also require you to pay a fee that I don't have, because I'm flat broke. Damn. So, what exactly should I do here? I don't know. And the last reason is recognition. I ain't that popular on YouTube, meaning I for sure am not that popular inside of the comic book space. It won't get as much notoriety because, well, I'm not a person of note. I'm a regular ass guy with not much. But I can write a decent story. Now, I have actually written a story, and my friends have also said it's a really good idea. But I don't have any way to really share this other than my YouTube channel, so why not? I'll put it out there in case someone wants or is interested in the idea. So, I created a story called Bloody Joe. And upon further research, there are two main topics that I've seen online about Bloody Joe, which is that it's a book that has nothing to do with the fucking story I'm writing. And someone also made a meme joke about anime names back in the day using, and then they said Blood Joe, which is not the same thing. Uh, I don't think so, at least. So what I'm trying to say here is, yeah, I've seen some things about Blood Joe or Bloody Joe, but I'm pretty sure that that's not even like an actual name of the series or anything, so I should be good in copyright regards. As far as I know, I'm not sure. There doesn't seem to be any real comic books by the name of Bloody Joe. I just want to put that out there because I ain't good with legal stuff. Mostly because I ain't the smartest person. But you know, I'm good at writing, so there's that. Or at least I think I'm good at writing. I hope I am. Anyway, so what is this Bloody Joe about? Well, it's a superhero book. Yeah. My friends have compared it to One Punch Man and My Hero Academia. which I haven't watched the second one of those. Don't get me wrong, I've heard good things about it, but it's just the fandom weirds me out, and I don't want to go diving in deep into that whole shtick. But for the most part, I will try it out. Maybe to see if I can try to make my series a bit more original, but whatever. So, what is exactly Blood Joe? I've been kind of lingering around this question without ever answering it, so let's answer it and explain. Because I feel like it's a really good idea. So, the basic premise of this universe that I've basically built up here is it's like a more realistic superhero universe, kind of like The Boys. But instead of The Boys, where the superheroes are on top and the humans can basically do nothing to stop them, that's like the entire premise of the show. It's kind of the opposite in Bloody Joe. The people with superpowers are kind of like minorities who are being abused. And the normal people have developed ways to fight back against them that basically make sure that they can't ever win a fight. In other words, the supers are also known as the... Hold on. I have a note somewhere. I forgot the fucking acronym. The DPIs. Dangerously powered individuals. Because, well, normal people see their powers as dangerous or something they don't understand, which they also automatically interpret as dangerous. Because, yeah, I forgot I had that mod on. That scared the shit out of me. So, yeah. DPIs, or dangerously powered individuals, are the main kind of premise. They've been abused by, well, everyone for the past couple of, I don't know, like 10 years. And the main character, Bloody Joe, is also a DPI. Now, obviously, there's some kind of organization behind containing these powers. So, of course, we got the PCA, which is the Power Containment Agency, which, self-explanatory, they contain the powers of people and, well, run experiments on them. Kind of like a weird SCP Foundation of this universe that try to experiment on the powered beings to see if they can find a way to undo this. Now, why would they want to undo it, you may ask? Well, there wasn't always a time when powered beings were kind of like abused. At one point, they were also accepted as superheroes, you know, like in comics. But after the Tops, a superhero team that was like the strongest superheroes, like think of your Justice League and your just overpowered superhero teams, those are the Tops, all combined into one. That's what the Tops are. They're an overpowered superhero team with basically every kind of overpowered superhero. They betrayed the world and kind of destroyed like half of it, which made a lot of things go wrong, especially making superheroes and empowered beings very disliked by the general public. Until the Power Containment Agency swooped in and kind of just said they have a system to fix this. Their system was basically building walls around the major cities and sending out the powered beings to live in the outskirts. Basically, they said, let's avoid the problem. And if the powered beings try to get back in, well, they use their, well, technology. Because this is kind of like a retro futuristic shtick. Or not even retro. It's more like medieval futuristic. Kind of like Bloodborne-ish vibes. But not exactly like Bloodborne. It's a bit different. But similar vibes. Kind of like that Victorian plague era kind of idea. So, that's the premise. And not a bad premise if I do say so myself. Sure, there are a few things I could work out. Like, the main idea behind where these abilities came from is that they just appeared one day. I definitely need to start fleshing that out more because, like, they just kind of appeared one day, no rhyme or reason. Any age group, it's not like people are just born with them all of a sudden. No, they can be like any age, you can get a power. And there's no rhyme or reason and no explanation. One day you can just be a normal person, the next day you can be crawling on walls and swinging through the city. That's the idea. Oh shit, they're in the house. Oh, well, that's not great. Okay, anyway. So, who exactly is the main character, Bloody Joe, and what is his ability? Well, Bloody Joe's ability is he can manipulate his own blood. Kind of an underutilized power within fiction. I mean, think of the ideas you can use with that. The ability to basically manipulate your own blood is kind of like a Green Lantern ring almost. You can turn it into pretty much whatever shape or form you want. Any construct, really. With the caveat, of course, being it's his own blood, so if he uses too much of it, he dies. That's pretty obvious. Or at least he passes out because he can't lose that much blood without, well, passing out. It's his blood. So that explains the basic idea of Bloody Joe. It's a guy who uses his own blood. Funny enough, Bloody Joe is not his name. Everyone kind of gets like a nickname when they get into the, you know, the outskirts. And that happened to be his nickname because, well, he's a guy who uses blood. He's like a regular looking guy who uses blood abilities. So, Bloody Joe. Kind of based on the idea of an average Joe. I thought it was clever at least. Now, the idea behind the outskirts is that, essentially, the outskirts is ruled by, well, leaders, let's just say that. And these leaders are ruled by the big boss. There are 4 leaders, and the big boss is, of course, well, the big boss. And Bloody Joe is actually a character who grew up around that time when superheroes were very popular. He loved to watch superheroes, and he was a very big superhero fan. So, now that he's having a second chance to kind of right some wrongs he's done in the past, he decides he's going to become a vigilante of sorts and, well, clean up the outskirts. Try to improve the living conditions there as well. So he becomes the hero everyone really doesn't need because, like, the outskirts are still shitty. But hey, he wants to try to help any way he can. So, hey, he becomes a hero. So, Yeah, that's my concept. Bloody Joe. One day he was a normal guy, the next he could just kind of use his own blood. And I really think this could be a great idea, if used correctly. But unfortunately, myself and many other creative writers never, and I mean never, get the chance to truly, well, express themselves. So, yeah, myself and many writers never get the chance to really express themselves or show their creative talent. I think this is a great idea. And it stares away from that whole, oh, hey, this character is super overpowered kind of concept. Bloody Joe isn't a main character that's overpowered or has some kind of basic ability, like super strength or agility. No, he's a guy with powers to manipulate blood. Which is why I think it's a super neat idea. I mean, like, there's so much you could do with that ability. You can create weapons, you can basically change an entire flow of battle. Your own blood is the weapon. And I mean, what is the enemy gonna do if they injure you? Think about it. You spit blood on their face, you can use that as a weapon. And it's on them. Of course, he uses this ability too often, and he's gonna bleed out, and, well, yeah. Still, I think this has a bit of an opportunity. Too bad, it's probably never gonna come to light. And I mean ever. Because some stories just go untold. There's not much we can do about that. Sure, we could get some writers, we could get some cool ideas, but if no one ever actually gives them a shot, well, they're never gonna get the green light. People would rather fall back on writers and people that they actually know and enjoy rather than trying something new. And that's just kind of what happens in the world. And that's not just for comic books, that's for everything. People would rather fall back onto something they know than try something new. And maybe, just maybe, one day people will give it a shot. Anyway, if it wasn't obvious, I took a lot of inspiration from this idea from, well, a couple of sources. One of them, which you probably didn't catch on about, was Hirohiko Araki's JoJo Bizarre Adventure. Woohoo, yeah. JoJo's mention. For all you fans out there, yeah, sure, why not? Now, yeah, it doesn't outright seem like it, but I did get inspired by writing the story from that series. Araki's basic everything about his stories, from his ideas behind philosophy and the meaning of life and destiny and all that stuff, really just made me think about a lot. So, yeah, he inspired the story probably the most of all. And whilst the basic premise was inspired by other superhero content like DC or Marvel, Araki is what really just helped me feel like I should express my creative juices. So shout out to Araki. He is one of the greatest mangaka ever. He's also probably a vampire or immortal in some way because, I mean, look at him. He's not aged a day, and I don't know how that's possible. But anyway, like I said, it just kind of sucks. Sometimes art is just never acknowledged. It's what I would say. But the truth is, sometimes even the greatest piece of art always has a chance. I'm not saying that Bloody Joe is a good idea, but I'm saying that sometimes you can take inspiration from even the smallest things. Go out there, guys. Express yourselves. See what you want to write and what you could do with your own experiences. Because maybe you have a great story you can tell, or maybe just a mediocre story. Either way, you won't know until you give it a shot. Wow, talking about this really gets it off my chest. Feels nice talking about stuff. And I may not be the best at, well, talking. I am a very socially awkward person with not a lot of. What was I saying? Alright. I'm not good at talking. I am socially awkward and a bit nervous about everything and whatnot. But talking about stuff through a screen uh, can be nice. Well, I hope I inspired someone out there to do something. Until then, I've been Kai. This has been Rat Rants.